Yo, what's going on? A late night episode tonight. And I want to thank everybody in advance for tuning in on the live, the folks who are going to watch on the replay, the folks who stopped by at any point in time, even if it's for a hot minute. I definitely appreciate y'all. I'm Marcus, the Debt Free Dad, where we talk finances and attorney reactions. So we got a little gumbo, if you will. We got a little bit of everything up in here. Hopefully, you get some value out of it. And you can definitely support the channel by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. It's free. I'm not selling you nothing. I just wanted to, hey, I'm grateful and appreciative for the support. Hey, shout out for the first comment of the night. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in, sis. Hope everything is going well with you and yours. Now, I always got to start out with the disclaimer. I'm a licensed attorney in multiple jurisdictions, but none of those jurisdictions amount to me being your counsel. So this isn't legal or financial advice. I'm just letting y'all know what's going on, you know, and giving my opinion and takes on topics and current events. It's for infotainment purposes. Always seek a professional in your area. Now, we got to do a little bit of a recap, okay? Earlier in the week, I did a live and we was targeted and focused on the state of Florida. Shout out to the folks in Florida. Shout out to the legislators in Florida who actually got something right for a change. But shout out to them. So I got to recap because that video builds on this video. It was just so much going on with houses and squatters in Florida and in New York, and it just happened to be perfect timing. So the recap: Florida legislator passed a law, which is a great law. A lot of states had these whack ass squatters' rights with squatters. They get in your property if they stay in there for 30 or 45 or 60 days, depending on what the law says in that state. They actually earn rights. So now you got homeowners who are trying to evict squatters out of their property, and they have to actually go through the court process, which can take 2, 3, 4 months to get done. Well, the Florida legislator enacted a law that essentially said, yo, law enforcement could get squatters up out of your house immediately, which, hey, shout out to them. That's a very important rule. That's a law that I agree with. I think that more states should follow suit, definitely. Now, we got to talk about the dark side of what's going on, but Florida did it right. Law enforcement can get squatters out of their home immediately. And in that video, I talked about how squatters were trying to use that they were the victim of a bogus scam to justify why they were in the home. So a squatter moves into the property. Law enforcement comes. When law enforcement comes, what does the squatter do? The squatter would show a bogus lease saying, yo, I got this lease from this individual, or I got scammed because I thought this lease was a legitimate lease, even though they knew it was BS. In the video that we watched, this lady had did this for a whole year. She didn't pay rent for a whole damn year. So she was just jumping from house to house, doing the same kind of finesse, the same scam. So in addition to law enforcement being able to get squatters out immediately, Florida also made it a felony if a squatter shows a bogus lease to try to use that as justification. Now, that actually isn't the dumbest thing, because if it were actually true, even though in that case it wasn't, but if I moved into a property under the auspice of, yo, I actually have a legitimate lease, it wouldn't make anything that I'm doing a crime because there's no criminal intent. I got finesse. Now, those squatters was full of you know what? Those squatters were full of you know what? But at least I tracked their logic. Somebody thought about it. Now, while I was doing that video, we had to move from Florida. So we're going to go all the way up to the East Coast to good old New York, right? Now, I don't know. Like, I think I guess politically, I'm kind of a middle guy, okay? But hey, don't shoot the messenger. But this is my opinion. Sometimes these liberal states like New York and California have some of the, not sometimes, most of the times, they have some of the worst laws on the books for people who commit crimes. It's just absolutely freaking ridiculous. So we saw the moves that Florida made. That was a big deal. That was actually smart. That I agree with. Shout out to uh, folks in Florida. Shout out to the Florida legislature for getting this one right. Now we're going to pivot and take a look in New York to see why Florida actually changed it, why Florida made the right move, and why super liberal New York got some whack ass laws that they need to rectify and they need to fix. So we're going to look at two videos. This first video is about a homeowner confronting squatters in her $1 million home that I believe her mother left her when her mother passed away. And we're going to look at it and see how this played out.
I don't know the law. Yeah, there's laws. You shouldn't be trying to steal my house. Yes, you are. You don't even
How about that? A squatter standoff. A property owner confronts a group of people she says moved into her $1 million home in Queens, and our cameras were rolling as dozens of officers showed up.
Several people were taken away in handcuffs, and one of those arrested may surprise you.
Investigative reporter Dan Krauth joins us now with more on what happened. Tell us, Dan.
Well, this is a very big growing problem. I received dozens of tips from viewers about this in just the past week. I went to do what I thought was going to be a routine interview. Instead, we capture what police and property owners are dealing with on a daily basis.
I have video of you. Who are these people? Figure out the situation. But they're in my house, man. Relax. No.
To understand how this day ended,
We need the police right away.
with multiple 911 calls and
Hey, before we watch this video, shout out to the homeowner who got to deal with this stuff, because I'm gonna be honest, I can't actually guarantee that DFD. I would probably get arrested, but it wouldn't be for trespassing on my own property. It'd be for breaking somebody's kneecaps. So shout out to the people who actually trying to abide by the law, and the people who got the patience and diligence and resources to actually go to court. Because if you ain't got no money, you can't go to court to get these people out. It's gonna take all damn day. Now, before I finish playing this video, I just wanted to give a quick background. Squatters' rights. Where did squatter rights come from? Well, squatter rights originated across the pond in Britain, and it was a law for landowners or people who wanted to finesse your land, depending on how you would look at it. But back in the day, people would leave out the countryside. They would go to war. They would go in the woods. They would go in the wilderness. Stuff would happen. They may die out there and they never came back. And somebody just say, oh man, there's a cabin in the woods. I'm going to stay here. They end up staying there for 30 years. And next thing you know, it's their property. Squatters' rights evolved from an old archaic principle that actually makes no damn sense, and we need to change it. But I just wanted to give y'all that background before we get back to this BS that's going on right here.
No.
To understand how this day ended,
We need the police right away.
with multiple 911 calls and arrests, we have to start at the beginning.
Adele, the hardest question is how do you say your name?
We met Adele Andaloro outside the home her parents left her in Flushing, Queens. She's in the process of selling it,
No, he loved it.
but she's been locked out. She claims squatters moved in on February 6th and refused to leave.
What's it like being here knowing you can't go inside of your own home?
It's enraging. It really is.
In New York, squatters have rights after 30 days.
By the time that someone does their
30 days,
investigation
that's
and they
crazy.
do their work and their job, will be well over the 30 days, and this man will have stolen my home. And now she's back.
Just after wrapping up our interview, a woman showed up.
What are you doing in the house? Are you renting this house? Why are you here?
She unlocked the front door, saw our cameras, and took off.
It's open. Let's go in the house. It's open.
Adele and her daughter, with the property deed in
This is
hand,
wild.
went inside.
This is my furniture. These are my curtains.
She didn't just find her belongings inside.
There's a man sleeping right there. Get out of my house.
She found two men.
How long have you lived here?
I moved in about 2 days ago.
They've called the police on me, and I've called the locksmiths. I didn't come in illegally. The door was open.
Police started interviewing neighbors and looking for documents.
Do you have something that shows that you've been here for more than 30 days?
They took the man who told me he had been renting for 2 days out in handcuffs
They got one out.
and escorted the other guy off the property.
Now you're afraid to come out.
I'm not coming out. This house is empty. This is my.
All right, that's weird. Why did they take the first guy out and he looks like he's actually being detained and or arrested, but the second guy, they just moved him out and escorted him out of the house? Maybe there was some issue with how long each of them said that they were in the house, because in New York, these squatters don't get rights until they're in the home for 30 days. But this is crazy as hell. Let's just think about this. Not only are they in the house, they changed the damn locks on the door, and they got her furniture and shit. They in there sleeping on her furniture and her bed, all of her stuff. And 30 days isn't a long time. It's actually people out there who go on 30-day vacations. So you could presumably go on a 30-day vacation, go to another state for a couple of months for work, go do your reserve time as a military service member, and somebody can move their ass in your house and actually have rights to it. That is freaking insane.
My home, my locksmith is on the corner waiting to change my locks, and that's not fair. It's not fair that I, as the homeowner, should be having to go through this.
How you doing?
Minutes later, a locksmith showed up, but police gave her a warning before they left.
I may end up in handcuffs today if this man shows up here and says that I have illegally evicted him. I said to them, let him take me to court the way I've been told to take him to court. But today, I'm not leaving my house.
Less than 10 minutes after police left and the locks were changed.
Hey, shout out to her. I would be the same way. I would have been more over the top. Because if I come into my house, I don't think people realize how dangerous this situation could get. You gone for 30 days. If I come back and my door is locked, I can't get in, I'm immediately assuming something is wrong. So when I rightfully kick the door down to my property, because I've been gone for 30 days, I come in and there's people in my house. What if those people approach me aggressively, like the video we saw in Florida where those fools was down there acting all crazy and wilding out and threatening everybody? Like, somebody gonna get killed. I hate killed with a T. Somebody is gonna get themselves hurt with this squatter nonsense. So especially in states like New York and California, because I mean, people go in the store and steal all kinds of stuff, and they don't put those guys in prisons anyway. So probably the bluer the state, the more ridiculous the squatters' laws is. But hey, let's finish checking out this video.
The man who claims to be the one actually leasing the house shows up.
Call the police again.
With the other guy, police took off the property.
Do you see this? This guy just literally broke down my door, broke through myself and my daughter to get in here. This guy just forced himself into my house. No, he did not. Yes, he did. No, he did. And so did you. You broke through the front door.
Officer.
The man called the police on her.
So why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. We need to go to court.
They consider this a landlord-tenant issue. And by law, it has to be handled through the housing court, not with police.
If you own this house, you would not want her inside.
I don't own it.
Exactly,
Yes.
she does.
Yes, but then once again, you should know how the law works.
I do know how it works.
There's rules to the.
See, that's that bullshit. Like, like that's right there. Why, hey, DFD probably would have cracked dude's skull. Like, nah, I don't own a house, but you should know how the law works. These guys are using the law to finesse the game. Now, I think this is $1 million home. So $1 million home in New York is probably like a $200,000 home in a more rural area of the United States. But let's just think about this, right? I would wonder if I were to go to, let's say I went to a real affluent part of the District of Columbia next to the Obamas, and I said, oh man, I'm going to go squat in this house because I know these people aren't there. I don't care what the rules are. I guarantee you they'll get my black ass out of there. I would be shocked. Well, I would say I'm not going to be shocked because I'm sure I'm going to actually look for this now. But most of the squatter situations I see are situations where people are in the homes of like working class folks. It's very rare that like you'll see somebody squatting in a damn mansion in Beverly Hills somewhere because they're going to get their ass up out of there so quick. But that's interesting. I'm going to look to see if we can see more of that. I'm not saying I would be armed, but I do live in Florida. It's your property. You going in there and you don't know anybody's there. You've been gone for 45 days and let's say they didn't change the locks and you go in there and you didn't know anyone was in there. Somebody is really going to get shot because if you anything like me and you believe in your Second Amendment rights, it's going to be a problem. You don't know what they doing in your house. You don't know that they're in your house. They stuff around the corner. Some of these cats are being mad aggressive. It's an absolute shit show, and it's absolutely terrible in the more liberal states like California and New York.
You got to go to court and send me to civil court.
He says he signed a lease in October, but wouldn't tell.
I might have to call the goon squad to tune this dude up.
He says he signed a lease in October, but wouldn't tell us with who.
I got proof longer than that.
Show us the proof.
Well, who are you for me to show? I showed it to cops.
Dan with Channel 7 News. If you don't want to show it, you don't want to show it.
Cool. Come here, brother. I like that.
I would like to see it.
He didn't show me a lease.
This is a bill.
A bill for work he says he had done to the house. He didn't show police a lease either.
The police department doesn't have the lease?
No.
He's got no documentation.
Just bills.
So Adele, you're
It's
getting arrested
crazy
right
as
now?
hell.
arrested
For what?
And they arresting the homeowner.
for being in my own home.
This is the
And where's
this is crazy as hell. Like I don't even know how this is a thing. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. And I'm gonna just be honest. If I was one of those cops, there's no way I'm arresting somebody for this. Like if I was in charge, if I was the major in charge of whatever district they're in New York, I'd be like, look, if it's a squatters thing, we gonna call it mutual combat. We're gonna call it mutual combat and leave it alone. This sister lost her house that her mother left her when she passed away, and now she getting arrested because some knuckleheads and they're taking advantage of a dumbass law. This is absolutely terrible. And honestly, this sounds crazy. When the law is changed, because I think New York or someone in the legislature in New York is proposing the law to change this, that'll be kind of similar to Florida's law, probably a little bit stupider because it's New York. But when this law is changed, it needs to be changed. There should actually be some type of legal recourse that they could have, because I mean, they have to be some type of legal recourse they could have, because these people are losing out on their home. They losing out on the ability to sell their home. They losing money from the ability to rent their home. It's an absolute mess. Like I said, I admit to nothing. Right? It definitely. How is he allowed to stay without documentation or anything? Literally in this video, the only thing the cops took was the guy's word for it. How long you been here? 30 days. Because he knows enough about the game and the law clearly to where he know that as long as I say 30 days and they don't got no proof that I haven't been here 30 days, it should at least be a threshold of, if you say you were here for 30 days, you got 48 hours to provide a verified lease that, can be actually proven, that can be notarized by the individual. It got to be some shit that they could do to make it work. But they have no interest in making it work because this shit hasn't happened to somebody who people in politics and with money would give a damn about. It's an absolute travesty. Yeah, let that be more motivated person, and this would have turned out much differently. I agree. But again, most of these videos I see are impacting working class folks. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if I know someone who has a condo in Manhattan who's on vacation for 45 days, let me go up there and try to assume their property. I bet you I get my ass whipped and they'll throw me into custody. But it's a damn shame that this lady is going into custody for defending what is rightfully hers.
Here's your lease.
She's fighting the house. It's not her house anymore.
My deed
That's
is
what it was
current
told
and
already.
legal.
Arrested for unlawful eviction. She changed the locks on a man who claims he lives there.
Keyword, claims. He ain't proved shit. A man who claims he lived there. She came there with documents, and now she's getting thrown in the pokey. That's a goddamn
So
shame.
how does this all end then? When do you leave?
The way it ends is either she pays me my money that I put into the house, pay me the money, and I'll leave, or send me to court, and we deal with the judge in court. It's that simple.
It's not that simple. It's a long process. Eviction can take close to 2 years to complete.
God damn, I ain't hear that. Yo, I'm sorry. That's not funny. Did they say 2 years? Yo, did they just say eviction can take 2 years? That is crazy. If eviction can take 2 years and I'm losing out on rental proceeds or the right and access to my house, if I'm gonna get thrown in jail anyway, I might as well beat his ass. Like, I mean, in most states, an assault is a misdemeanor, and I'm sure wrongful eviction is a misdemeanor. I mean, if you're gonna go in custody, if you go in custody, I might as well go in custody and feel better. But that's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like these people need to know some. They need to know some street goons. I hate to say it, but they need to. People claim a lot of things doesn't make it true. Yeah, I mean, like I'll tell you right now, like I would make your stay in that house so uncomfortable, you would be begging to give me the keys back. You ain't getting no sleep in there. Every night you come out, some different person gonna just whip your ass. Your car tires gonna be flat. I'm going straight ignorant. I'm telling you right now, it'll be hard for me. 2 years, the eviction process could take 2 years. That's some New York shit. Because in the case we watched earlier this week, it was like in Florida, the eviction process can take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. Hey, DFD not telling y'all to engage in violent activities. I'm just telling y'all it's a strong likelihood that I'm a snap and have an Iraq flashback, and it's not going to end well for the person in the house. But this is how these dumbass laws impact everyday people. And I don't know what this lady does for a living, but her going into custody, it could affect a lot of things when you go into custody. It can affect your employment. It can affect any security clearance. If you have any immigration issues or you don't have immigration issues, getting a conviction of a misdemeanor in some states can impact your immigration, your ability to stay in this country. It's just so much shit that can happen all from an individual actually trying to go into their own house. So again, we're going to give a round of applause to Florida. For Florida, hey, there's a lot of laws in Florida that are sketch, that are wild, that are kind of bullshit. But when it comes to squatters' rights, shout out to Florida for being on the front of getting rid of this nonsense. Now, we saw in this example how this squatter situation can escalate. This squatter situation ended up escalating to where the actual homeowner who just was trying to get her mama's house that her mother left her ended up going in custody for changing the locks and wrongful eviction based on no actual evidence at all. Now we're about to see how it gets even worse, and we're going to go to another state. No, it's not. We're going to go right back to New York, and this happened, I think, a day or two ago. But we're going to show you when you have dumbass laws in place and you have lazy people who are criminals and want something for nothing, we're going to show you how this can escalate. So first, you lose your access to your home. Then you can get arrested because the squatters got more right than you, the person who actually owns the house. Now we about to see how it takes a real turn for the worse. Yeah, nothing about encouraging people to be so uncomfortable they choose to leave. I'm telling you, I would make that, yo. You ain't gonna rest. You ain't gonna get no sleep. You ain't gonna be able to walk out the house without getting accosted. I ain't saying I'm gonna do the accosting, but hey, it's goons for hire. It's goons for hire out here. But this would really drive people to to snap and lose it. Like I would really, it would take every ounce of like prayers that everyone throughout life has ever prayed for me to keep me from doing something crazy in this exact situation. Yeah, what about the lady who was killed and dismembered? Yeah, hey, hey, like I just said, we about to pull up another video real quick. See, you already on it. You already know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm about to pull this video up right now. I'm gonna pull this video up right now so we can see how shit can go from worse to stupider. Yeah. I'm with you, dude. Like, like, yo, taking something that's mine. Like, I'm actually like, if somebody scam me, like you just kind of finesse me and I fall for something, I could actually eat that. I'd be like, oh man, this dude got me. I thought he was legit and he wasn't. Like I would actually be like, oh, you know what? You got me. Hey, you got me. I should have known better. But taking something that's mine due to no fault of my own, I can't tolerate that shit. Taking something of mine due to it's something that I'm telling you right now. I know it'll be a problem for me, and that shit probably is going to end up bad. New York is soft to crime or soft on crime. What's going on, sis? Thanks for tuning in too. Shout out to everybody who leaving comments. New York is soft on crime and has gone to hell. New York, California, like, yo, real talk, hey, where I'm at in DC, hey, is carjackings that occur all the damn time, and these kids walk out with no consequences and or repercussions. And ultimately, what's going to end up happening is somebody kid not going to come home. It's just the nature of what is going to eventually happen. When you let stupid ass little crimes go and don't address them, they just perpetuate, and they end up getting absolutely worse until someone gets hurt. Let me go and get this next video queued up. Let's see. Let's go and get this next video queued up so we could jump on in for a little bit. Yeah, New York is a joke. Even the like retailers. Like, I went in the store one day. This is crazy. This is real small, but this is how small crimes make shit annoying and stupid for everybody else. I went into the store one day to get something simple like toothpaste. And I lie to you not, when I went to CVS, everything on the shelf was behind the fucking glass. You couldn't get anything. If you wanted to pack a fucking Starburst, pardon my language, if you wanted to pack a Starburst, you had to literally like hit the button and get someone come to open the glass. So you couldn't buy lotion. I mean, it's just getting really ridiculous. They had these flash mobs where groups of people will go to a Macy's or a store and just steal things. Now stores aren't letting people in. Stores are going out of business. I mean, it's just a whole trash crap show. No way I would be in New York. They are ridiculous. Right. Something is so wrong with the mentality that they not only can take you home, but they call the cops on you. Oh no, they want me to leave my place. I'll be honest, I don't really got no words for it. I can't even imagine. I pray that I'm never in that absolute situation. And I think about it all the time because I got property that's out of the state. So it's not uncommon for me to not be there for like 30 days. At the end of this, I'm going to give some tips on what you can do to help avoid this situation. But if you stay in a place like New York or California, God be with you. You may have to put them hands on some people if you stay in one of them liberal states that's just gonna let people do anything. Yeah, I used to live in Northern VA. Yeah, I'm in DC, the District of Columbia, and it's terrible. They got all the, I mean, stores get robbed all the time. People walk in stores and just steal, and the cops like, oh, we can't do anything to them because it's not a serious crime. But then on the flip side, carjackings occur like air to breathe. That's a carjackings occur so frequently, and it's like 13-year-olds, 12 years old, and nothing happened to them. Like, I'm not even talking about juvenile, none of that. They just no bond because of their age, and they just out. I mean, they crashing cars, they causing accidents. They shot the damn running back for the Commanders. He got carjacked and got shot in the leg by some kids. This shit is just getting out of hand, really. It's really getting out of hand out here. Oh, you from Baltimore, so I know you'll fuck somebody up. You from you moved to Florida from Annapolis, and you originally from Baltimore. Yep, being from Baltimore is without a shadow of a doubt. If you from Baltimore, you are very likely if somebody push that wrong button to put them paws on somebody, Shout out to Baltimore. I went to undergrad in Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore. I used to live out in East Baltimore and West Baltimore. West North Avenue, craziest street ever. Yeah, these people, some of them are sophisticated. Use jammers to kill surveillance and cell phones. I'm telling you, people are taking things to the next level. In the video I did earlier this week, the guy, it was a home for sale. And they had the lockbox on the home, but it's like a digital lockbox, right? So you can go on an app and unlock the key if you wanted to look at the home and think about purchasing it and get access to it. Well, they had the digital lockbox there with the key in it. Somebody took the same pictures on the site for sale, put them on Craigslist, said the property was for rent, created an account with this app to control the lockbox, and they actually had access to the lockbox as well. So people, it was like, oh, pay the first and last month rent. Here, set up an account here. They got into the lockbox, and these people who couldn't even rent the property had access to the lockbox, was letting these people who think they were renting the property go tour the house, people paying them first and last month's rent. It's just a whole big shit show and finesse, man. It's terrible. Oh, oh man, you grew up on North Ave? Oh, I ain't messing with you, Wendy. Hey, Wendy, part of the Goon Squad. Hey, DFD's Goon Squad. That's people who are law-abiding citizens. But if you mess with us, we susceptible to snapping on your ass. Yeah, West North Avenue is yeah, that was a rough, that was the toughest street I've ever seen. And I lived in some crazy areas, but yeah, West North Avenue was tough. I heard today that cartels are using the kids to carjack and steal because their consequences are next to nothing, turning kids into thugs. Yeah, people used to do that all the time, even back in the day. Because if you juvie, if you under 16, essentially in most states, like you catch a drug charge or a gun charge, they probably gonna give you some type of diversion where, well, we'll put you on probation for 12 months and you got to do this class, anger management, write up apology. Like they give you all this dumbass stuff to do, and if you comply and you stay out of trouble for 12 months, they make that charge go away. So that was actually a common scheme There's a common thing that is actually used by criminals. Now let's take a look at this next video. This next video, hey, shout out because it was already brought up in the chat. But we're going to show how squatters taking advantage of bullshit laws, it going bad, homeowners getting arrested because they can't get people out of their own properties. And this is just watching it elevate from stupid to dumb to bad to worse to this is really jacked up. So let's take a look at this video, then we're going to talk about it.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. And I do want to get to a developing story out of the New York City area where police are searching for a pair of squatters who they say may be tied to the murder of a woman. Her body found stuffed inside a duffel bag inside her apartment. Very disturbing details here. Briella Tomasetti with our Fox 5 New York team joining us live with what we know so far.
All right, now let's talk about this real quick, all right? Because I got to pause it right here, all right? So they're looking for a pair of squatters, okay? Now, that's the thing, okay? Squatter rights are so much bullshit that people know, like, yo, if I can sit somewhere for a certain amount of time, they can't really do anything to me. So who's going to take advantage of that? Shady ass people who want something for nothing, and people who are criminals are going to take advantage of that. Hey, honestly, in the right situation, law-abiding citizens will take advantage of squatters' rights if they can do it and get away with the shit. But definitely criminals are going to be the first people to take advantage. So let's just think about this. Why, if I got a criminal enterprise going on, right? Let's say I wanted to be a big-time narcotics dealer. Why would I utilize my own property or something my name on? Where if I know that John Doe is out of town or out of the country, that house been empty, I could go set up shop over there. And by the time John Doe come back, it'll take him 2 months to even get me up out of there. So now you got the criminal underbelly taking advantage of these whack-ass laws, particularly in New York. And this is how it escalates.
Good morning, Briella.
Yeah, Josh, this case is more than a week old, but police are finally starting to sort out some of these details. Having just flown in from abroad, the 52-year-old victim, Nadia Vittel, stopped by her late mother's apartment here in Kips Bay. It's right here in my rear view. And she was getting it ready for a family friend to move in. Cops say, though, when she unexpectedly found those squatters inside, that's when things took a turn for the worse. The NYPD has new insight on who may be connected to the murder of a woman whose body was found stuffed inside a duffel bag in her Manhattan apartment. Investigators are looking for a pair of squatters, a man and a woman, who they believe were staying in the apartment prior to the gruesome discovery. Police say 52-year-old Nadia Vittel was last seen walking into her apartment building on East 31st Street in Kips Bay last Tuesday.
It came as a complete shock and surprise, you know. I didn't even know.
Gene Pompey is the building superintendent. He says surveillance video shows Vittel getting in the elevator and going up to her apartment on the 19th floor. A friend called to make a wellness check, but there was no answer.
So I went up, knocked on the door. It was just only the dog barking.
Shortly afterwards, the victim's son and two in-laws arrived to Vittel's apartment. When police got there, Vittel's lifeless body was found in the closet, stashed inside a duffel bag. Investigators claim she was beaten to death.
When I came into work, there was an ambulance here and one cop car.
Police allege the squatters had been staying in Vittel's apartment for days, and when she returned, the pair killed her and took off in her SUV. Security cameras captured the suspects coming in on Sunday and leaving Tuesday afternoon, the same day Vittel was last seen. It's believed that they drove her car across the George Washington Bridge into New Jersey and then into Pennsylvania, where they crashed the vehicle.
It's scary when something like this happens. You always expect it to happen somewhere else and not in your own neighborhood.
Republican State Assemblyman Jake Blumenkranz has filed a bill that would make it easier for homeowners to remove squatters from their properties. Under New York state law, people who claim they're tenants can't be arrested for trespassing. That also means homeowners can't change the locks, get rid of their stuff, or shut off the electricity. The bill would allow police to intervene and make arrests instead of forcing homeowners into an arduous court process.
Shout out to the Republican. I can't even recall his name. It was some guy I never heard of, but shout out to him for introducing a bill that makes sense. Now watch, this shit won't pass because people and legislators don't care about stuff that's affecting people like that. If this don't pass, like somebody need to be voted out. The whole fucking the whole Congress need to be voted out. The whole state delegates need to be voted out if this shit don't pass. This is crazy.
Yeah, and speaking of tenants' rights, a lot of states do give tenants the upper hand. Now, this bill states that tenants do not include squatters and give people rights after 45 days rather than the current 30 days, considering most short-term rentals here in New York City.
Why give them rights after 45 days? Like, that don't make any sense. Like, I still don't think that, I don't know. Like, that's crazy. Like, if you want to put a time limit on it, make it something that's going to be hard for them to do. 90 days. It's hard to occupy a property uninterrupted for 90 fucking days without DFD coming through, cracking your goddamn kneecaps with a Louisville slugger. So they need to stretch that out. 30 days is whack. 45 days is garbage. If you want to put a time limit on it, I get it. But you need to make that time limit something that's unrealistic so it doesn't empower the squatters. I put that shit at like 90 or 180 days.
Require the tenant, to stay for at least a month. For now, we're live here in Kips Bay, though. Josh, will send it back to you.
All right, Briella Tomasetti there with our Fox 5 News.
That story is absolutely terrible. First and foremost, the squatters, male and female, I can't say this for certain, but I guess there's a difference between a sane squatter. The squatters in the first video we saw are greedy, entitled, and want something for nothing. But I don't think that they were crazy. The squatters in this story sound kind of crackish. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was some people who was squatting in this lady apartment that she's just trying to get ready and squared away for her family. And they probably in there doing God knows what, all types of drugs, narcotics, and everything. This lady comes in, they zooted out of their mind. Either they scared as hell or they zooted out of their mind. I'm thinking it's probably more of a substance use thing, because if you were scared, I don't know. Like, I can't see somebody, if they were scared, just, it's one thing to shoot somebody, but I don't know. I'm just trying to rationalize it. Because if I'm a squatter, but I'm a law-abiding citizen, if somebody came in, startled me, I shot them, I'm not going to go through the hassle of putting their body in the bag, then driving their car across state lines. When you start seeing compounding actions like that, that's somebody who, hey, I guarantee you when they find these people probably got a criminal record as long as hell. It's just that's just extreme thing to do, even if you're someone who's shook in that type of situation. I like this comment right here. She should have had a concealed permit, might still be alive, but this is New York. In New York, even though the Supreme Court issued a decision, I think it was 2 years ago, because I got all my permits, but the Supreme Court issued a decision that said, hey, you can't deny somebody a concealed carry permit. But this is New York. They care more about gun laws to stop regular law-abiding citizens having firearms than they do about creating gun laws that punish criminals who shouldn't have guns who actually got them. New York is ass backwards. They when it comes to their ideology and thinking. So even if she had a concealed carry permit, New York, I know at one point they said you can't have a firearm in public places, and they define public places as any place that could hold 10 or more people. That's every goddamn place. That's this goddamn office I'm in right now. Like, New York is kind of wild, but I do agree Second Amendment rights are important, especially when you're returning to a property that you haven't been at, or an alternative, go with somebody else. Like I told in the video I did earlier this week, I had a situation one time where my management company called me and said, hey, we don't think these tenants want to get out of there. And so I was like, well, you let them know I'm coming down there. And when I come down there, it's the Carolinas. When I come down there, you already know what time it is. I'm gonna have that goddamn it on me. So the property management company, like, hey, the owner coming down there. When I went down there, it was nobody there. But once I unlocked the door, I announced myself. I was like, yo, I'm coming in. I'm the owner of this property. If it's somebody here, come downstairs right now. Don't jump out on me. Don't make no sharp moves. Don't have your hands in your pockets. Because, hey, I am a Second Amendment right to bear arms guy. And if it would behoove you and be in your best interest to listen to what I'm saying so you can get out of here okay. Because I'm going home. But yeah, I do agree. If you have the ability to carry a concealed weapon, I think that you should have a concealed weapon. Same obstacles in VA. I think this is part of the reason that the South is the fastest growing region in the country. I don't disagree with that. Like, you see a lot of, like, over the past, I don't know, I want to say over the past maybe 4 to 5 years, we've been seeing a big hiatus of people moving from places like California, New York, and they relocating to Florida and Texas because, I mean, it's crazy. Nowhere is going to have 100% commonsensical rules, but some shit is just dumb. Like, okay, y'all got stupid laws and y'all taxing the hell out of us. Hey, I'm gonna go to a state that ain't got no taxes. They may have dumb laws, but at least I get some benefit, right? It's crazy. Okay, on the tenants' rights, they say that after a specified time you have established residency. Yeah, and that these squatter rights, all they do are prerequisite to adverse possession. Because think about it, you move in, you stay in for 30 days, and after 30 days, they essentially classify you as a tenant. So now you have to be evicted through the eviction process in court. That's another reason why, like, hey, be careful who you let move in with you. I seen people move in, they start getting mail. 30 days later, the person try to kick them out, and the cops like, nah, we can't kick them out. You got to go to court to evict them. So you got to definitely be careful of who you let up in your crib. But squatters' rights is a prerequisite to adverse possession. 30 days in this New York case makes you a tenant, so you have some rights and you can't get unlawfully evicted. But on the bigger picture, and we did a story on this before, adverse possession. If you can maintain continuous uninterrupted use of the property for a certain amount of period, you can legally get good title to that property. Most states is 7 years. You can adverse possess land from the government, but the year that you have to have that property continuous and uninterrupted is longer. Like, I know in North Carolina, it's 7 years for individuals. And if you want to adversely possess property, take property from the government, you have to occupy that property for a continuous and uninterrupted period of 20 years. But it is possible. I wonder how they knew the apartment was empty. I mean, I don't know. It could be, I mean, it's crazy because the people in the neighborhood. I mean, hey, I'm just keep it a buck. They interviewed a couple of white folks in that story who didn't look like they was real scruffy. So I don't think that this apartment is actually a terrible apartment. It doesn't strike me as a place that was just downtrodden where it was a slumlord or something like that. So it could have been, maybe they had access to the inside. Sometimes though, they could have done what criminals do all the time when they do B&Es. When people do breaking and enterings, the first thing they do, they knock on your door. And if you answer the door, they'd be like, "Oh, we were wondering if you're interested in a solar panel. I'm from Solar United of America." But if you don't answer the door, you know what they do? They kick the damn door in and try to take your stuff. So it could have been a couple of ways that they found out that the property was empty. But and it could have been that they weren't there for a long time as well. They could have not been squatting. They could have been in the damn property just to find a damn place to get high. The way this story went, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, this can't be the first person they hurt in this manner. No, these squatters are people who taking advantage of this type of shit are serial. You know what I mean? Like, and let's just be honest. Those people in this story, I think the squatting is the smallest part of this story. The big picture is it shows how dumbass laws for squatters and creating rights that they shouldn't have against the actual homeowner can evolve to something different. I'm gonna be honest. I think at the end of the day, these people weren't really squatters. I think they were more concerned about doing exactly what they did. They wanted to harm somebody. They wanted to rob somebody. They wanted to get somebody's vehicle because that's a big ass jump on the criminal spectrum from squatting to murder to throwing them in a bag to it's not a normal evolution. It's an extreme jump from one thing to the other. So the squatting probably wasn't even the intent here. The intent in this case was definitely to harm somebody, rob somebody, take a vehicle, or something to that effect. That's what I'm thinking. Criminals definitely terrible. Criminal have guns. Yeah. So extreme left. Yeah, hey, but no. And yeah, even I mean we could go even farther with the like bail bonds laws that are in certain states. Certain states got bond laws where you can commit an armed robbery, and if you never missed court before, hey, you pay this bond, you can go back out and be on the street. It get kind of crazy out here. Lefties. My pops always told me, yeah, but the older you get, the more conservative you become. See, now that's the difference between a man and a woman. Yeah, yeah. My sister-in-law left Cali for Utah. That's how awful NorCal has become. Yeah, California is on that list of places that people are getting the hell out of as well. And yo, I actually went to Utah. Utah is actually a beautiful place. I had an amazing time in Utah. I was like, a great time in Utah. I was like, why the hell would I ever want to go to Utah? Then I went to Utah. I was like, man, I got to go back to Utah. It was amazing. But yeah, a lot of places, especially, I'm gonna keep it a buck, especially, hey, for us, there's a lot of places that we inherently think, man, I ain't gonna go there. Utah, like what? Like, no, I ain't going to no Utah. It ain't nothing for me out there. But a lot of these places aren't actually terrible places. Utah, Nebraska. I've been to some places that I had no intention to ever going, and I went, and I was like, oh, these places are dope. And I'm gonna just be honest. I think this is my personal opinion. I think most people, even regardless of what their beliefs are, I think most people, if you leave them the fuck alone, they'll you leave you the fuck alone. I think that's how most people are. I ain't gonna say all people, but I think a majority of people are. Hey, regardless of a person's belief, if you're not bothering them, they aren't bothering you. But you do have those special nuanced cases of crazy ass people. Yeah, you showed her how these guys operate. Hey, I dealt with the worst of the worst. Hey, I represented some terrible people. I used to represent the lowest of the low in that society. So that's why I'm jaded, and I think most people ain't shit. I ain't gonna say most people ain't shit. I think most people try to take advantage of you if you let them. Whether that's taking your stuff, whether that's whipping your ass. That's why I'm overly cautious just because of my experience. Yeah, desperate people will do desperate things. I agree. Off topic, are you going to FinCon this year in Atlanta? I want to. I saw that they just released the tickets. I want to go. I gotta see how things are looking as close. I'm probably not gonna get an early ticket, but I think I am gonna go because last year I was in New Orleans, but I had to go in and out because I was doing work stuff. So it wasn't really like I couldn't even go and really enjoy it because I still had to work the whole time I was down there. But the answer is probably going to be a yes to that. I'm probably going to go. I do got to look at my schedule because your boy at a new job, but I don't think it's going to be no issues getting off. And shout out, my supervisor is a financial content creator. I ain't gonna drop her name here, but maybe one day I invite her on the channel. But she has some published literature in the finance realm, and she's been to FinCom before. So I was like, okay, that's dope. It's cool to and an Army vet. I was like, okay, you got a lot in common with DFD. I like that. You understand my Army lingo. But so the answer is probably a yes on that, Wendy. Probably a yes. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to give a shout out to Florida for getting it right, and give a shout out for some senators in New York who are trying to get things right in your property, on your property. I think your rights on your own property should be at the highest levels of possible. So when it comes to you being on your property, I think that your rights to defend yourself, your rights to defend your property should be at the highest level possible. So hopefully more states follow suits and change this nonsense because it's an absolute issue. Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, the new job is cool. I'm enjoying it. I will tell you though, it's how could I put this? I don't know. When you I don't want to say this and sound arrogant, but when you're a sharp person who's good at your job, people will notice it real quick. I said in another video, I was like, damn, y'all want to put me in charge of appeals. I didn't even get my first paycheck yet, but all right, that's cool. So it is what it is, but definitely a blessing. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thanks for the subscribe. Thanks, Wendy. Thanks everybody who tuned in, who chimed in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Have a good weekend. If you go out of town and you're going out of town for more than 30 days, hey, what do you do, DFD, for your properties that's out of state? Well, there's a couple of things. One, I make sure I know the people around my property. So I'm really cool with the neighbors. And if they see something, they'll say something because it's not uncommon, too, especially down south. If they know your shit vacant, people will move their ass right on in. So I'm really cool with the neighbors. I have family members, people who go by, check on the property every couple of weeks or so. And then I go down maybe every 3 to 4 months to check on things. The only thing you can do is really try to keep eyes on it. If you want, you can do cameras and all of that stuff. But I think the best thing you can do is have some ties with your community, know the people around you. And communities are weird nowadays too. Because I asked one of my homegirls, like, do you have your neighbors' phone numbers? And she was like, no. And I was like, what? You've been at your place for years. I literally have, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses on my street, 7, and I got 5 of my neighbors' phone numbers who I could call them immediately. So if you somewhere, sometimes it's good to have a united front. And most people who are actually homeowners who live in a place, they don't want to see other people come in and mess over their neighborhood. So people are really good about that. So definitely tune in. Hey, I appreciate it, sis. I'm definitely happy about it. And hey, it was a blessing and I was being patient. Yeah, good neighbors better than surveillance. That's a fact, 100%. I had to do a neighbor check daily when we had gone to take care of it. Yeah, one of my neighbors had the key to my place. Hey, come on in. I was out of the country and my family gone. He was coming in watching my dog. Another one of my neighbors I could call. Oh, I got a package. Could you grab it for me? So it is some good folks out there. Most people don't want bullshit going on in their neighborhood. So that's the best thing you could do to defend against this. Y'all take care. Have a good night. I'm about to sign off because it's late and your boy was dropping too many curse words on here. Be blessed, y'all. Out.